Good afternoon. My message is really pretty simple. My family's been serving in Cowlitz County in law enforcement collectively for over 100 years. So I have kind of a unique perspective on the public safety issue. Well, many years, what you've heard have been numbers and figures that paint a certain picture. I want to share a couple of facts from my perspective of nearly 40 years in law enforcement and a virtual lifetime of association. The reality is of this issue is not really in the numbers, but in the service. I've got the finest deputies available anywhere, and they do what they do because they care about people. Well, folks tell you it's about money. It's not. It is about people. It's about who we serve. More and more of our citizens are facing increased needs. They need more money. They need more social services. They need more public assistance, and more frequently, they need emergency assistance. While these needs have grown, the public servant's ability to respond to those needs has diminished due to the reduction in funding and associated staff. Allow me to give you a couple of quick examples. In 1976, my father was the sheriff of Cowlitz County. I sit in the same office at the same desk that he did 40 years ago. At that time, he had 38 deputies working for him. Their responsibilities were primarily patrol, detectives, and civil duties. In 2008, that number of deputies had grown to 50 to meet the increased demands over that 30 years. Now in 2015, I'm in my second term as the sheriff of the county, and I have 40 deputies, down 10 from what it was in 2008, and only 2 more than my father had 40 years ago. And in addition to the duties that he was responsible for, we're now responsible for sex offender tracking, court security, increased training demands, more technology than we can keep up with, and an ever-increasing load of public disclosure requests and scrutiny. Today, our citizens are far more likely to see their complaints handled over the telephone or even online than actually see a deputy sheriff. That's not a level of service I'm okay with. Additionally, our response times are only held in check by the fact that so many calls are handled by telephone. This means less actual patrol time, less officers on the street, and fewer deputy-initiated calls. As an elected official, it's my constitutional responsibility to protect and maintain individual rights. And I find it increasingly difficult to provide that protection and maintenance of rights to the degree that I feel the public needs and certainly deserves. While our county population has more than doubled since the mid-70s and our calls for service have increased exponentially, our county, like all the others in this state, have been forced into an unsurvivable downward spiral due to purposeful limitations on our ability to raise necessary revenue. Even though study after study has shown that the most important services to the public are education and public safety funding has been largely ignored to the point of increased danger to our communities. It's important for the citizens of the state of Washington to make their voices heard and for the legislature to do the right thing. Listen to your county government. Listen to the local elected officials. We're asking that the state give local county government the ability to ask for help from its own residents and to share revenues from those initiatives that claim to be there to assist public safety. For the sake of our citizens, we'd ask that you give the ability to do what the counties were meant to do, provide a level of service to the citizens that the state cannot. Help us help them. Along with my fellow county elected officials, I just want to say that I love my state, I love my county, I love my neighbors, I love my God, and it's to Him that I pray this message is heard. Thank you.